Hello, I'm Annetta Hunter, the owner of Hunter Coaching and Consulting, a wellness company. I'm continuing my series on disparaging treatment in the workplace and adding one of my own. Recently, in a corporate company that I worked in, we had an issue with the team I worked on, which was comprised mostly of African American women. We were in a company with a majority of Caucasian workers. And the one thing I noticed was that immediately the team was put aside and put out in a hallway in the company that we started out in the building we started out in. And that was one thing. Of course, if there wasn't enough room, that's understandable that you need to put them somewhere, right? But then we moved to another office, which had a lot of room. We were put in a room with another group, another team, and that team just seemed to be very unwelcoming to us. They seemed to really just keep their distance from our team. They didn't interact and talk with us very much, and I just really couldn't understand why. We were very nice women, very professional, and we got along with everybody else, so I just didn't understand why we just seemed to be so unwelcome in their space, I guess. But we were sharing the space together at the same time. Then we moved to a different area that was opened up once the building started to expand and build out. And we were put in another room and ended up being put as far back away from everybody else in a corner facing a gray blank wall. So all they saw were the backs of our heads. That was frustrating from the get-go. We just felt like, why do we have to be put in the corner in the dark? It wasn't a nice thing to be put aside like that. But the last and final straw came when we had called a meeting with our managers and had some things we wanted to discuss. And one last final thing, the director of the pharmacy said, was there anything else we wanted to talk about? And I raised my hand and I said, yes. As a matter of fact, I felt it was necessary to say something because I noticed and watched several times her walk through our area of the office, but she would talk to everybody in that room but our team. She wouldn't walk by us and ask how we were doing or what's going on with you ladies. Is there anything I can help you with? Any questions? Nothing that made us feel welcome or part of the team, part of her pharmacy group. We were all in there together, so you would think that everybody would be together and we'd be treated the same, but we found that not to be the case. And I told her that it really made us feel even more ostracized because we weren't considered, we weren't respected and acknowledged. So that's one thing that everyone should be. They should be seen, they should be acknowledged. There are people on teams that are highly educated people, very talented people. And one thing I always want to bring out in a company are those people that are very quiet, may have a lot of really interesting information or talents or things that no one knows about because no one takes the time to really get to know who they are, what they're about, what their aspirations are. And I believe that should be something that should be implemented, that teams should get to know one another and understand who they're working with, because I think at that level, the more people would really get to know and understand one another, and the differences might just disappear because we might find out, as it is, that we are all the same under our skin. And everyone should be treated fairly, treated with respect, and be treated with love. Next week, I'm going to talk about another lady in the same office who was treated just horribly with every manager, it seemed, that she worked with in that company. She was a lovely person, highly skilled, highly educated, very talented, a wonderful woman, but for some reason she was just treated terribly. And it doesn't have to be people of color. I believe in this case it was ageism. She was a Caucasian woman, very highly respected by her team members, and we loved her. But she'll have her own story to tell you. And we appreciate you listening and watching. all this time, and I want to start a conversation, and I do this only because I feel like it's so important to understand exactly what is being said in companies to people of color or in different classes, genders, or ages that, are being looked at in a very negative way or treated in a very negative way. So I thank you for watching. I hope that it's been entertaining, but also eye-opening and raises some eyebrows, because that's what it's intended to do. Thank you again, and I'll see you next week.